Hi, everyone. I apologize if I sound a little bit raspy today. I'm getting over a cold, so I've got my big jug of water sitting right next to me. So what this presentation is today is basically it's my master's capstone presentation that I did last spring as one of the steps to be able to get my master's degree here at the U of A. So most of my research was focused on student engagement and technology, and so this is titled Facebook, Twitter, and Blogs, Oh My, Utilizing Technology to Increase Student Engagement. Oops. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to go over why technology is important. What's going on that makes this such an important topic. Different types of technology that are out there that folks are using. Some NSSE data from last year's National Survey of Student Engagement survey that went out and results that came back. And then lots of talking about stratification issues in terms of the digital divide when it comes to utilizing technology in our students. And then finally we'll end with some suggestions for implementation. So why is this important? First of all, we're dealing with a generation of students termed as the net generation. We'll get into a little bit more about that here in a second. There's been an increased use in technology in the last 10 years with the upswing of Twitter and Facebook and blogs and the use of iTunes, the educational iTunes, iTunes U, that's what I'm thinking of. And then technology is evolving. I once had a professor, Wei Chen, say that every 18 months technology doubles. And so we constantly, as student affairs professionals, need to be on the forefront of technology and how we can constantly be aware of how we can be engaging with our students and making their experiences even better. So, net generation, another term for millennial. These folks were born between 1982 and 1994. So these are folks that have recently graduated college and all the way up until folks that we're seeing come into the university system. Some characteristics. They're frequently in touch with their parents. They're using technology at higher rates than ever before. 97% of these students, according to some research done by Ray Hunko, own a computer. 94% own a cell phone. 56% own an MP3 player. On average, they're spending at least 3.5 hours a day online. However, how connected a student might be in coming to college varies by socioeconomic status. Excuse me. There's lots of different types of technologies. So we've got your social networking websites, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. MySpace is kind of on that downswing of social networking websites. Facebook is kind of taking that kind of downturn, although there are 500 million active users that Facebook talks about, but still kind of taking a little bit of a different direction than what it originally took, with the addition of games and advertising and things like that. Blogs. Students are blogging about their experiences. Universities are blogging about student experiences. Universities are blogging about themselves. Student affairs professionals, many of you are utilizing blogs to talk about your experiences and what's happening in student affairs. There's a lot of user-created content websites. Flickr for pictures, YouTube for videos, instant messaging applications. AOL Instant Messenger was something that a little bit of my generation used while we were growing up, although that's kind of taking a downturn now with Twitter and websites that allow you to kind of keep connected with friends and family. Cell phones, and then virtual worlds such as Second Life. So a little bit about some NSSE data. Students and faculty most use technology for lecture notes, posting announcements and reading, and posting grades. A lot of this use comes in through programs such as D2L and Blackboard, where folks can interact online, whether that's through a chat room, whether that's through discussion boards, or just posting readings and posting notes and things like that. It found that students and faculty are least using technology for things such as video conferencing and phone chats, virtual worlds, video games, simulations, and blogs. Oh, backspace. There we go. Sorry about that. Technology is grouped into, they group technology into two different types of technology. So we've got course management, Blackboard, Desire to Learn, also known as D2L. We use D2L here at the University of Arizona for all of our classes. It's actually mandated that our professors are utilizing D2L. And then we have interactive technologies, so blogs, student response systems, virtual worlds, Facebook, Twitter, things like that, anything that folks are using to interact. Uses of technology are varied among both faculty and students. Low-tech methods are most often used. A little bit, let me go back a bullet point here of uses being varied by faculty and students. Women faculty were more likely than men to utilize course management tools. Older students are more likely than younger students to be using interactive technologies. Low-tech modes of communication, email, face-to-face, were cited by nearly all faculty and 80% of students as being the communication mode most often used. Students who engaged in high-tech communications such as blogs, Facebook, Twitter, Second Life, etc., were more engaged and reported higher learning and development gains than peers who didn't use these technologies. And then,
Kevin, we had a question real fast.
Yes.
Could you share the statistics of millennials using technology again?
What's that?
Can you go back and share the statistics of millennials using technology?
Absolutely. We've got 97% of students reported owning a computer, 94% owned a cell phone, 56% own an MP3 player, and they're spending at least 3.5 hours a day online. This varies by race, class, and socioeconomic status as well.
Thanks, Kevin.
So course management and interactive technologies were both positively related to student engagement and self-reported learning outcomes and deep approaches to learning. So a little bit about the variation I just went over briefly. So there are differences that definitely exist. Women are using communication tech more than men. African Americans are less likely to own a cell phone than students from other ethnic groups. There's a positive relationship between being African American, however, and the number of text messages that are being sent. And then students who struggle with technology tend to be from lower SES backgrounds and tend to be minorities. What are campuses doing? Some professors are utilizing Twitter in the classroom, utilizing Twitter as just kind of a back channel. This is becoming a little bit more popular among large lecture hall classes. Professors will post a Twitter feed, and then TAs can respond to student questions while a professor is presenting. Campuses are utilizing Facebook pages. I worked at Texas Tech University for my Kuhoi internship in the summer of '09, and one thing I helped do was set up some Facebook pages for university student housing for their living learning communities for all their different residence halls as well. They're also utilizing Facebook events. Excuse me. And these are announcing due dates for applications. These are announcing hall programs, university programs, speakers that are coming to campus, things like that. Anything to try and utilize Facebook for marketing purposes. And then there's a lot of online classroom management. Like I talked about here at the University of Arizona, we use Z2L. In my undergraduate institution of Creighton University, we utilize Blackboard for all of our classes. And what these do, once again, is they give discussion boards and allow to have class online. There's also professors who are utilizing blogs in their classroom. I came across a professor in a class that it was an English 101 class at Georgia Tech who was utilizing blogs to talk about food. The whole topic was food, and so somehow I ended up just finding the class's blog online, and each student had to write blog responses to all the readings that they were doing. I, as someone who wasn't affiliated with the university, was able to engage with the class, engage with the professor. I got a copy of the syllabus just to kind of see what was happening and what was going on. And so it's a great way to kind of bring education out into the global marketplace. So, the interactive portion of my presentation. What are you doing? What are things happening in your own departments and your own universities in regards to technology and how you're interacting with students?
And just as a quick reminder, if you joined us late, there is a chat box and a questions box. If you want to put your questions into the questions box, you can do that. A lot of you are online on Twitter using the hashtag breakdrink. That's the #, one word, breakdrink. So put your questions out on Twitter, put it through the chat box, either way, just to share what you're doing. And I'll go ahead and share what we're doing while we're waiting, Kevin. Our office utilizes both a Facebook page and a Twitter page, our Twitter account. Our Twitter account's not very active at all, but we get very good feedback and interaction on our Facebook page.
That's awesome. That's something that we're attempting to start up here in our office in Residence Life here. We do have Facebook. We have started a Twitter page, but it hasn't come to its quite its fulfillment yet. What they're doing in our student union is the student union is really utilizing technology to increase its brand. And so they're utilizing Facebook and Twitter to really advertise what's happening both in our union and at the university as well. And they've actually just got a student who is an employee for them. Kyle Oman, some of you have interacted with him on Twitter, is kind of taking the lead on the union's Facebook and Twitter campaigns here.
So someone asked in the question room, is our Twitter linked to our Facebook updates? And I guess that's maybe for us, and ours is. We do have it separate, but it's also linked because we have several people with administrative access to Facebook, and so that way when they do make an update, they can automatically go out to Twitter. But we do some, like, I guess, native tweets also on there as well. It's just that our population doesn't seem to be as active on Twitter as on Facebook.
For us here, the union Twitter is connected to Facebook, and so all of the tweets get posted to Facebook, but it's not the opposite, because there's a lot of different departments within the union that post to the Facebook page, but just the union Twitter account posts to both Twitter and to its Facebook page.
And Katie on a comment she had on Twitter. It says Facebook is usually one of the first ideas my students have for ways to advertise. I think that's really true. And so much of marketing from companies is going on Facebook now, but that's something that student organizations have been doing since 2004 when Facebook first started.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that when I was an RA and Facebook first came out, which seems like forever ago, we were constantly using Facebook to advertise. And my RAs here utilize Facebook, and with alternative breaks here at the University of Arizona, we're utilizing Facebook to kind of get the word out and things like that. And we're seeing really great results, and so I think that says a lot, which is good.
Brian on Twitter says their department has a Facebook fan page, and he gives a link there, and it says, and they created one for his hall as well, so they're utilizing it there. So
cool. Let's see where we at on this. Okay. Oops. So some recommendations for integration into practice. Technology initiatives should flow from and be a seamless part of the division's mission. Kind of a little bit of what I mean about that is a lot of times an employee or a student will get a great idea to start up a Facebook page for the department, for their hall, for their group, whatever. And then in student affairs, we see a lot of transition. And so once that employee or student leaves, that can kind of get dropped behind if it's not part of, if the technology initiative is not part of the entire departmental or divisional mission. And so just for continuity's sake, it should definitely flow from that departmental divisional standpoint. And I think that Ed Cabellin over on his blog, On the Go with Ed Cabellin, has really laid out a great foundation of steps you can take to kind of create that social marketing campaign and really start up social networking on your campus. That's a shout out. I don't know if Ed's with us this morning, but a little bit of a shout out to him and the work that he's done. Be open-minded when considering the adaptation of newer technologies. Like I said, technology is constantly evolving. We as student affairs professionals need to go where our students are. And so if it's something that we haven't necessarily been comfortable using in the past, we need to be open-minded and try things out. One thing that we just started using here at the U of A was we use Scavenger to do a university-wide scavenger hunt about safety when school first started here through RHA, and it was something brand new, and students really seemed to enjoy it and get a lot out of it. So definitely be open-minded. Know that technology is a tool and has potential for both productive and unproductive uses. I don't know about what all is happening on other campuses, but I know we see a lot of conduct-related incidents in regards to technology, whether that's cell phone text messages being sent to each other, or Facebook posts, or threats that are happening via Facebook, things like that. There's definitely both productive and unproductive uses of technology. When considering implementing new technology, ask whether it has an educational goal. It's important that we're not just utilizing technology just for the sake of utilizing technology, but there needs to be an educational component and educational goal behind why we're doing what we're doing. Talk to students about how they're using technology and how they want to interact with their institution when they're utilizing that technology. If students aren't on Twitter, it's probably not the most effective way to spend your or your department's time setting up a Twitter account and trying to connect with students on Twitter. If they're finding that students or potential students are responding most to Facebook or blogs on your website, spend time developing where students are going to be interacting with you. And know that it's okay not to utilize every form of technology to try and connect with students, but really be smart about what you're trying to do. Assess staff's professional development needs and current technology infrastructure and plan accordingly. If staff members aren't aware of how to use different functions on Facebook and how to use Twitter and how to utilize blogs and things like that, it's important to provide professional development opportunities. Host a conference or host a professional development session after a staff meeting, just kind of running through how they can effectively utilize these technologies to interact with their students and things like that. It goes a long way and helps kind of bridge that divide. It's important to continually assess technology efforts. I can't stress this enough. If, once again, like we talked about a couple of points ago, if students aren't interacting with you, that's important to figure out kind of where you're at and what you're doing and what you can do better to interact and engage with students. In conclusion, we found that technology positively increases student engagement. It's important to kind of keep up with the latest technologies, and then we must work with our students in determining best ways to use technology in order to engage with them. It all starts with that communication piece. If you have a student who's pretty tech savvy and is kind of constantly on the forefront, engage in discussion, see what their ideas are, and kind of move forward from there. So that's the end of my formal presentation. Are there any questions I can answer or comments?
Kevin, we already have a few questions. Actually, Laura Pasquini said that when she was at UTSC and the Career Center, they used blogs there, and she actually on Twitter under the Break Drink hashtag put the Blogspot's address in, but she said Facebook was definitely a better way to draw out students there. Colin had a question about where can the scavenger program be found?
I can provide that link via Twitter on the hashtag if you want to after that.
Okay. Once this is done, we're recording it, I'll link it on the page for the recording. Also, and then Katie again is saying how her supervisor, Kathy Pietras, and it's Kathy_PETRAS on Twitter, made herself available to GAs and students for tweetatorials. Very, very punny. Okay, back to the webinar question. There's one question that says, I'm curious how many student affairs professionals are using Twitter. I know the SA chat is very active, but it seems like it's a very small group. Also, what are other ways people are using Twitter for the field? Do you have any thoughts on that?
For us here, I would say that it's less than the majority here at the U of A that are utilizing Twitter. I think it's different on it varies based on what campus you're on. I would say that probably a fourth to half of the community director staff utilize Twitter in personally and professionally. I know some of our ADs utilize Twitter. Troy Bruce, who is my supervisor, utilizes Twitter and is a huge champion for how we can utilize technology to interact with students. Over in the union, we've got a few folks who are starting to pick it up and use it, but other than that, I would say that still less than the majority are utilizing, at least here on our campus.
I would agree, but I would say it's probably growing quickly. About a year ago, when Twitter first had the list, I went to create a student affairs list, and I did a lot of work to try to find as many student affairs professionals as possible. It was probably less than 100 people. That's way over 300 at this point. I don't know the recent counts. I know it's growing pretty rapidly. So.
And I mean, even from the start of when SA Chat first started, the growth of our weekly chats has just really skyrocketed and has given an entire new platform to discuss student affairs and kind of current events. And I think that has helped in bring in student affairs professionals utilizing Twitter.
The next question is, what is your experience with students actually using Twitter? Unfortunately, it seems that students in general do not use it and don't understand it.
I would agree for the most part. I think that a lot of our more tech-savvy students are utilizing Twitter, but for the average student, I think Facebook is still a main mode of contact. I think we're seeing a little bit more usage in that a little bit younger demographic, but still for the most part, I would say that 25 and over demographic is where most of the Twitter users are lying. And so I think that it can be a great tool. I think that it needs to be marketed. It definitely needs to be marketed as a tool to use and interact with students. I like what a lot of schools will give away free things on Twitter, and so trying to draw in folks that way. I know our athletic director gives away basketball tickets on a regular occasion for free to folks who interact with him, and I know that at Boston University, Dean Elmore gives away free stuff on Twitter as well, and so I think that giving incentives to kind of get started and to start using Twitter is really important.
Right. What do you say to student affairs professionals who do not feel we should be using Facebook with students? And actually, I have another question that's very similar, so I'll just go ahead and tell you both of them.
Sure.
Are the majority of students open to institutions engaging through technology, or they think that Facebook is student territory?
I mean, I think that a lot of the research is showing that that students are really open to it, and students are interacting with universities online, and students are interacting with professors online. And, I know with our marketing, some things we talked about earlier here, students are we're using technology to market events to students, and we're finding that it helps, and we're finding that that it's working. For alternative breaks this year, we tripled our alternative breaks program this year, and our primary forms of marketing were online, so through email, through Facebook, and listservs and things like that were primary forms of marketing and things like that. So I think that it's important to sit down with colleagues and kind of talk about the data and look at a lot of the great research that Dr. Ray is using or is doing in publishing is really good, and kind of looking at what other universities are using. I think there's some really successful models out there that can be utilized and that are working. So.
Okay, next question. How has technology affected students' attitudes and behaviors towards face-to-face interaction with campus life and services?
I think that's one of the rebuttals that we get from folks who would give the arguments that you just talked about, Jeff, is that it's really students don't know how to communicate face-to-face. And I know that I can talk about my interactions with students in that we're seeing a lot more conduct-related issues that are utilizing technology and utilizing Facebook, and especially text messages. Students are sending text messages to each other that are pretty hurtful and are the cause of a lot of roommate conflicts and things like that. So I think it's important to kind of look at those productive and unproductive uses of technology.
All right, that's all the questions that we have coming through the webinar right now. If you have another question, get it in quickly. Laura Pasquini shared the scavenger address, and it's and you probably couldn't find it online because it's written in tech language. It's scvngr.com. Let's see.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah. And I think that's all the questions we have right now.
Awesome.
So I'd like to thank Kevin for kicking off the conference this time. Thanks, Kevin. That's great. Just as a reminder, there are several presentations on technology, all kind of coming from a different angle. One will be today at 3 o'clock Central, and there'll be 2 more tomorrow. And Ed Cabellon, who you mentioned earlier, will be presenting with us. So be sure to check those out if this is something that I guess you're interested in. Your campus is kind of trying to grasp how to get started with that.